What's up, you guys? I'm Anya.
And I'm Kylie, and this is 2 Degrees Hotter,
the post-grad podcast where we get real about life after college every Tuesday. So my next one is to over-communicate to your team. And I think what originally inspired me to write this message is I feel like there's kind of like a generational difference when it comes to like using exclamation points and emojis and just like syntax on Slack and just like in life and whatever. And so I feel like things can often get misconstrued online if they're not like offering additional context. And so I just think over communicating is really important, and like never be embarrassed to like resend that message, resend that reminder, forward that email, float it to the top of their inbox. And I think something that I've been doing lately is like if a new priority comes up, which of course they do, ask what to reprioritize of your existing priorities. Like ask your manager, like, yeah, I would love to do that for you, but like what goes below that on the list now? You know what I mean? So even if it feels like an extra step or like you're doing too much or like you're annoying them, I promise you you're not. I was saying this to my new intern today, like you're not bothering me if you're messaging me questions over Slack. I would be concerned if you weren't messaging me questions over Slack. Yeah. So don't even worry about annoying people, and like don't interpret everybody's like syntax, I don't know, for face value. Like I feel like there's so many ways to like feel easily offended, like when your millennial boss texts you back like okay, and you're like, oh my god, what did I do? But like probably nothing. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. My next one is to try to start your day with the most difficult and or time-consuming task. I guess this is probably more applicable to people who are more like morning people than night people, but for me personally, I find if I'm going to stick to that 7 to 4 study session, when I wake up and I get ready to start at 7, that's when my motivation and my morale is at its highest. You know, I've just gotten a good night's sleep, got ready for the day, and I'm ready to start. So I want to start with my most time consuming, the thing that's going to take the most brain power and the most energy for me right away, and then trickle down my assignments based on, you know, what's going to be less time consuming and less brain power. Because as my motivation and morale kind of goes down throughout the day, so are my assignments. So I'm not leaving this big, you know, hill of an assignment for when I'm ready to just log off and be done for the day. Again, something that I wasn't always the best at, not always the most applicable with school. I understand sometimes you just have all really hard assignments and for those days, I'm sorry, I've been there with you. I get it. But when you can, I think this is a really good way to organize your day and make sure that, you know, your energy is sufficient for the task at hand throughout the day.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the decision fatigue thing as well. Like if you always know you're going to start with the hardest task, there's no decision to be made what you're starting with. You just start. So my next one is to look at your manager's calendar occasionally if you have it shared. I feel like that's a norm now. You kind of have to have it shared to like schedule meetings and stuff. So just like creep on their calendar, see what meetings that they're going to, and see if there's anything that you want to ask them to join. Because I feel like this, I can think of so many times that this would happen organically in person during my previous internships. Like I would run into my manager and I'd be like, where are you going? And he'd say, oh, I'm actually going to meet with blank. Like I have a call with this company. I'm testing. There was one time when I worked at an agriculture company that like I literally got pulled into a meeting where we were trying rice. Like we were sampling different brands of rice. And I only ended up there because I asked where he was going. So like those things are kind of missing from the virtual world. So I think it's really important to still attempt that like networking experience. So yeah, take a look at your manager's calendar, see what meetings might be relevant to you, see if you can join them, because you know there might be some cool things that you're missing out on just because you're not in person and you're not catching them leaving their desk. And then I think kind of on the same lines is ask to get taken off of meetings that you're not needed in. I feel like everyone kind of has that one meeting that they go to every week and they're kind of like, why am I here? Like I'm not contributing anything, I'm not taking notes, like I'm just dead weight. And get that time back. If you really like don't feel like you need to be there and the other people in the meeting know you don't need to be there, like get it back.
Yeah, for sure. And I think again, just kind of like that over communicating, like at least in my experience, and I'm sure it's the same for you, no boss of mine has ever been like put off by someone being overeager and wanting to join meetings. If anything,
Mm-hmm.
whenever I've asked to join meetings in that more organic way, it's always been like, impressive isn't the word I want to use, but it just shows that you actually care and that you're interested and that you want to get that more holistic view of your company.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think that's a really good tip. And again, it's just ways to fill up your calendar in ways that actually interest you and think that could help you in the long run. So my next tip is, and again, I feel like we've said something along those lines, but that must mean that it's really important. So I hope you guys are listening. It's to give yourself a break from screen time when you can. So obviously, most of us are probably on our computers most of the day. And if you're like me, relaxation can sometimes look like binging Netflix or watching YouTube videos or scrolling on TikTok. But I don't know the science behind it, but I'm going to venture a guess that being online 12 hours a day is not good for you. Have I done it before? Absolutely. Am I still doing it? Kind of. Am I trying to work on it? Absolutely. So try to, again, if it's taking a walk, if it's taking an extra long shower, doing a workout, anything that stops you from solely just looking at your screen, try to incorporate one of those things a day. And you might not even really notice any sort of like tangible difference, but I promise you, like it's a good thing for you to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I might be repeating myself from a previous episode, but I remember seeing something that was like, yes, I'm done looking at the medium screen now. Now I will sit on the couch and watch the large screen while I scroll on my small screen." And I
If
just
that
thought that
ain't
was
me.
funny. Um, yeah, so definitely agreed. My last work related one is just to remember that everybody is coping with remote work differently. Some people love it. Some people never want to go back to the office, and some people hate it, and it's their worst nightmare. And they're such people, people persons,
Yeah.
and they hate their lives and wish that they could go back to the office every single day. So just like know that people are handling this differently and give them grace and maybe send things a little bit ahead of time. You don't know if people stepped away from their computer. You don't know if they have to like pick up their kid from school. There's just so much behind the scenes that we maybe wouldn't have known about beforehand, but is like really coming to the forefront now of like being a parent and also being on Zoom and all these things that you kind of have to like honor within your coworkers' lives. So I just think it's really important to not get mad at people when they take long or when they don't see your Slack. Like everyone is coping with this so differently, and it's just we're all making it work and we're all trying our best. So give people grace, even if you're not with them in the office.
Yeah, for sure. And kind of on that same note, be patient with yourself and give yourself grace and recognize that even if things were normal, no one is productive every second of every day. No one is expected to be productive every second of every day, especially when you're working from home in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of social and racial justice movements, in the middle of attempted coups. Like, we've been through it. We really have. And so, you are allowed to take time to rest and rejuvenate when you need it. You don't have to be focused all 8 hours of your workday. You don't have, every reading doesn't need to be the most focused and, you know, deep understanding of the concepts as um it doesn't need to be perfect, basically, is what I'm saying. And just give yourself grace, do your best, because that's literally all you could do. And yeah, hopefully we'll be out of it soon and we'll return to actual normalcy. But until then, forgive yourself for not being perfect at a time that is literally so far from perfect.
Yeah, definitely agree. I like that quote.